Katy Perry, more like Katy Pervy, how Clavicular bought his popularity, Mormon Soda goes national, InfoWars goes leftist, and a bingeable back catalog at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Andy Kaufman, but for those of you who aren't comedy nerds or 70, Andy was one of the early alt comedians. He'd do weird stuff like go up on stage, get in a sleeping bag, and take a nap. That was the whole bit. He got really into pro wrestling at one point, pretending his neck was broken by plea bargaining pedophile Jerry Lawler, going so far as to wear a neck brace no matter what. It was reported that he wanted the writers of the show Taxi to include it in the script so he could keep wearing it. And they were like, no, fucking take it off. Pro wrestling's not real. He blurred the lines between reality and entertainment. I bring him up because I sometimes wonder, or perhaps hope, that many streamers are inspired by the works of Andy Kaufman. Because I'd rather believe that than believe someone like Asmongold is a real human being. I've talked about this guy before in my Content Creators Stink Literally video, alongside guys like KSI, who brags about not showering, or XQC, telling everyone he would shower but dries himself with moldy towels. Asmongold was featured in that video for the fact that, while live, a roach crawled up his torso and included pictures of his house which looked like a trubbish took a messy shit in a dumpster. And you know, streamers will do anything for attention, so every now and then I think, oh, was I duped? Am I a mark? A pigeon? Is Asmongold actually one of the greatest performers of our time? He's got this place set aside to stream from to look like the Rat King everyone calls him, but in actual fact, he lives in a really nice place somewhere else. He goes home, showers, and lives a normal life, laughing at every rube who thinks he's some sort of disgusting troll. Ha 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 ha. Well, I think we got our answer to that with several other viral moments over just the last few weeks. So, mid-April, he gets a little time out from Twitch for a week. This happened back in late 2024 when he called Palestinians an inferior culture and said he was fine with innocent civilians being genocided because it's, quote, baked into their laws. This time he claims he was banned for saying he doesn't give a fuck about the opinions of illiterate third worlders. Which, yeah, these are his politics. But I hope by the end of this video you'll be convinced that I would have made fun of this guy no matter what. So, he uses this opportunity to get his legendarily terrible teeth fixed. As many people pointed out in the comments section of my previous video, he would apparently quite often wake up with blood in his mouth and just wipe it up with his hand and then wipe his hand on the wall. His bedroom wall covered in mouth blood. Something we can all relate to, of course. There's a video of him drinking water and being disgusted by it, then immediately chasing it with a Coke or something, because when he drank water, all he could taste was the rot in his teeth. Again, was I being duped? All a bit. No, because much like his previous ban, where he took some time to clean the landfill he calls a house, he went and got his teeth fixed. He paid $7,000 to get all of his old rotten chiclets removed. And I guess either got implants, assuming the rot hadn't got all the way down to the bone and there wasn't anything to screw into, or it's basically dentures.
How many teeth did you lose? I have a single-digit number of actual real teeth left. So, like, I don't know how many you start with. I'm not sure. 32? Damn, so I really fucked that shit up, huh?
Yes, you did! He's 35, 36 years old. How do you lose, let's just estimate, 26 teeth? By the age of 12, you have your, well, let's not call them permanent teeth, I guess, your adult teeth. This means he lost 26 teeth in just 23 years. How? Well, perhaps we've got some insight into that. He appeared on a podcast with another internet character called Caleb Hammer. I'm still undecided if I like him or not. He's made a career out of yelling at people who are bad with money under the guise of helping them, which is mildly entertaining, but how many times can you watch a video of someone telling idiots, stop getting DoorDash 3 times a day, this is why you're broke? Says the guy who's made fun of like 250 pop songs over the last 16 years. But anyway, Asmongold breaks down his diet and, lifestyle.
Like, so I wake up, I usually have breakfast and I eat beef jerky. And then during my stream, I usually eat more beef jerky. And then after my stream, I eat candy and then beef jerky. And then after that, I have Chipotle. And then after that, I have ice cream.
Healthy.
Yeah, Chipotle's delicious, right? So I was eating so much Chipotle and so, because it has like the amount of salt that it has. Have you seen the amount of salt it has?
Probably a lot.
80% of like one, in like just one bowl of Chipotle. So I had my blood pressure taken, right? And it said my high score was 193. And so anyway, all this happens, right? And I had to tone it down. And so now I only eat Chipotle 4 times a week. Oh, then I have ice cream at the end. And then I'll usually, after I eat ice cream, I'll eat like chocolate and then fall asleep on the floor watching anime.
Yeah, he is living the dream of a 14-year-old boy. Again, is this all a bit? All a performance? A joke? A long-term troll? By the way, I enjoy that he loves Chipotle so much while being, almost definitely a racist, bordering on white supremacist.
And so that's it. America is not white people's land. That's Europe. Well, it is. It absolutely is white people's land. We fought a war over it. Duh. It got conquered. It's been our land for hundreds of years.
We? Actually, you know what? I'll give him that. If anyone in modern times could possibly identify with soldiers who fought at Little Bighorn, it'd be the man with 5 teeth and scurvy who subsists on cured meat, sleeps on the floor, and only bathes once a week. But anyway, to constantly be shitting on immigrants while living in Texas, spending 6 days a week exclusively ordering fake Mexican food, likely prepared by a Colombian immigrant, and almost definitely delivered to him by a guy named Deepak, there's a humorous irony in that. But any hope I had that this is a performance, that this guy is actually normal in real life and this is all a bit, went out the window when he started reading tweets making fun of him and getting defensive. So he's reading the responses to that clip I showed you where he talks about eating like a 12-year-old left home alone for the first time with no babysitter. And again, if this is a bit, give the man an Oscar, because he is selling the fuck out of it.
You're the one they love the most to hate? Well, the reason why I think that people get so mad about me is that a person like me existing in the way that I exist is like a complete, like it refutes their entire worldview. Because it's like, well, work hard? Not really. Well, you have to be a good person? Not really. Well, you can't lie? Yeah, you can. You can't cheat? Of course you can. You can't just sit at home playing video games all day? Yeah, you can. You can't just eat fast food all day? Yep, yes, you can. And so basically everything that they've learned in their entire life not to do, I used as a checklist. I just didn't do drugs. That's the only one I didn't get into. And that's it. And so that's why they get mad. That's the reason why they get mad about me.
That's the reason they get mad about me. Okay, Helen Hunt. I don't think anyone's mad, especially if you go look at the tweets. They're laughing at you. And your response was effectively, yeah, I'm a liar. I'm not a good person. I eat like shit and I play video games and scroll Twitter all day. But I'm very successful doing that, so I proved you all wrong. You can live like this. But the thing is, he's actually proven the opposite. Because of his lifestyle, his blood pressure is through the roof, and he lost all his teeth. His hair looks like the fucking Crypt Keepers. He can live like this for now because he's rich. Another clip that went viral was him talking about how he owed $4 million in taxes, and that he doesn't know how much he made, but it was more than $8 million. He can live this way because $7,000 is nothing to him. He could figure out a way to rot through the fake teeth and have them replaced too. You, without his money, would be fucked. But I don't know. This, to me, feels almost more egregious than, like, rappers who write songs about owning Bugattis and drinking $100,000 bottles of champagne. You know, I spent a lot of years making fun of that shit, too. But what about being a multi-millionaire and living like a fucking bum at the train yard? I'm genuinely surprised that his house isn't heated with a single flaming barrel in the living room. No, if I'm mad at you, Asmongold, it's for the fact that this isn't a bit. You could have been the greatest alt comic ever. Made Andy Kaufman look like some fucking open mic pants pisser. Instead, you're just an age-repressed, wispy-haired, toothless cretin with the blood pressure of an 80-year-old, openly bragging about how you got rich, lying to your audience, spending your evenings shoveling candy in your face until you pass out on the floor watching Chainsaw Man. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.